Yeah, so I think it was probably early in our journey here in Cleveland is that, we had this, I had already moved, being an optimist and thinking, okay, God, what's next?
Hmm.
Is kind of my mentality. Although there was some grief there that we couldn't go overseas. My wife really struggled with, God, you called us to go to Africa. And we're the ones saying, please send us, not God, please don't send me to Africa. We're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And so when we got here, what was really interesting is that, we were looking at houses and we couldn't afford to buy a house. So we were looking on the land bank website where we could get a house for $1 so that hopefully we could fix it up and live in it. And so I looked at like probably 10 or 15 houses. Lorie looked at them all and was like, nope, nope, not living there. Nope, not living there. And then we had this one house that came up and I'm like, this is it. And she wasn't with me that day, but my buddy was. I'm like, hey, would you mind if I bring my wife back up here and you could kind of just show her what we're talking about? Because she needs to see the big picture, like what it could be. And he knew about a little bit about our story. And so we showed up that day and I was showing Lorie and she's on, I don't know. I don't know if I like this.
Hmm.
And then here comes my buddy Daryl and he's got a friend with him and he's a black guy. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't look like he's from Cleveland. And I'm like, oh, I think he's African. Like, and he comes in the door and goes straight to my wife. Bonjour, madame.
Uh,
And my wife speaks French, and he's like, my name is Luke. I'm from Burkina Faso, West Africa. And Lorie's like, and my wife instantly starts crying. That's where we wanted to go. We wanted to go to Burkina. And here's this guy that's a helper of this construction guy that's from Burkina Faso. Lorie's like, I love the house. It's going to be great. I'm like, that's all it took is that, that we would have her come. And she just says, Paul, and so there's a couple other scenarios that happened where I was there. They're working on our house and our electrician's from Congo and his helper was from Burkina Faso.
mm.
And then about 2 years later, my daughter was having therapy at United Cerebral Palsy and had somebody was doing their clinicals at UCP and Lorie started talking to this guy and he's like, oh, you're not from here. He's like, no, I'm from Africa. He's like, I'm from Burkina Faso, West Africa. And of course, Lorie gets all excited, like, oh, And they started talking and Lorie's like, I was there in Burkina and I stayed with the Schaefers. And the guy's like, my mom is the housemaid for the Schaefers. She's the
Uh,
cook. And so all these connections are happening, and they knew Pete Brockup, and
yeah.
it was one of those things that they're both in tears by now. Like, who would have
Huh.
thunk that we were in Cleveland, Ohio,
Yeah.
and our dream to be in West Africa, but now there's a Burkina Bay physical therapist working on our daughter. Like it's just one of those things. And so I think it was one of those two scenarios, realizing that it wasn't Africa that we fell in love with; it was the people of Africa. And
Right.
so, which really sparked a love for all people. Like realizing, I'm speaking in a C&MA thing tomorrow about this. Is that because of our situation and even our story, it's really helped us to see people, to really see people, not to look at their color, their skin, or their religion, or their abilities or disabilities.
Yeah.
That they all are made in the image of God, and that He cares for them all. And He all wants them to know Him, but He also wants them to be on mission with Him. And so that's kind of opened up those doors of, um, we had great times in Burkina for different places, but
Hmm.
Cleveland's where God envisioned us to be, and our story brought us to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that. I would have never moved to Ohio.
Right.
Uh, and we can just really see God's hand. And now my wife's like, I love Cleveland. I don't ever want to leave.